All right, folks, we've got an interesting trading day to say the least here. We got big trouble in the Middle East. We've got FOMC announcements coming out today, so it is a rare day, but we've had a good morning in the first hour trading pit and in the war room in general today. So what's been going on? We had some gaps. The gaps were beautiful fades, so we had a 1, 2, 3 setup. We had a couple of trapdoors. Everything came out exactly the way we wanted to. We also had an opening trade in Apple that went exactly the way that we expected it to. So if you were at the boot camp last week, you ought to have had no problem this morning making the most of the opportunities that were put right in front of you. If you did, you need to call me. All right, so where are we? We've got, rarely do I put gas, any kind of oil and gas up on the screen. I've got integrated oil and gas that I am watching today. So watch the sector. This is going to be very sensitive to any kind of geopolitical stuff, and I don't like it generally, but it's something I've just got on screen for the session today. We've also got the triple Qs. We've got an FOMC announcement, which means we've got something we can expect. So right around 2 p.m. we know exactly what to look for. We're going to see a whipsaw move. It's best to step out of the way. But if you don't want to do what's best, I'm going to show you what I'm thinking is probably going to happen after we get that Fed announcement, which I assume is going to be no change in interest rates, but we need to listen for what the policy statement sounds like, right? What are they expecting going forward? That's going to have a big impact on what the markets make out of today's announcement and what the price action is going to look like. All right, let's take a look at the charts here. Here you have the triple Qs. So I was hoping that we would get into this session before some of this stuff started happening, but here we are. It happened. We've got this move to the upside followed by this drag back down right to our 531.79 threshold. That lines up perfectly with this volume by price data, and we can see that the overhead inflection at 532.13, right, looks tight on the triple Qs, but where is that a good one? That is a good one on our NQs. So on the NQs, we've got a really good, very good opportunity there. We got the guys in the room who are talking. So hang on one second. Let me just mute that. And then we can get into the rest of this. So if you're watching, what you're expecting to have happen here is that we're going to get another inflection on the downside, and if we get the move back up again, then on the NQ, this is a really good opportunity for a nice little profit. So that being said, I think that the next thing I'm going to take a look at here is Exxon. So Exxon is here we are in integrated oil and gas. I think that we've had this general sweep and move lower today, but we've got the opportunity for some retracements back up into that central pivot area. If we get the move back up into the central pivot, that gives us then the opportunity for another short sale. So I think the shorts are going to be the best moves on this for right now anyways, and a move back down into 113.41 from up around 113.96 is likely if we make it back up there again. So this guy's been trending lower all day. I think all of this news coming out of the Middle East is likely to continue to be problematic, and I think this is like one situation where you at least know the direction to pick on something like an oil and gas stock. Don't get too, I would avoid getting into the field services stuff. I would avoid getting into any of the ancillary stuff. I'm going to stick just to the big boys, probably Chevron and ExxonMobil is going to be all that I'm looking at here. Now, let's look at Apple. So Apple, as you can see, Apple is tracking higher, coming back in again, and it's coming into some fib levels. The fib levels overlap with the VWAP. The VWAP overlaps with our central pivot. We've got lots and lots of stuff here that says that over the course of the session, we are probably going to see, some moves back down into the range, and if we get an inflection off this central pivot, then what I would think we're going to see happen is sort of a bounce back up and down inside of this range. Next up, we have got Amazon. So Amazon back down to the anchored VWAP. I think that if we get some consolidation here over the course of the day, we're going to keep seeing happen just exactly what we just saw. So if you come down into this threshold level and then catch an inflection higher, 217.06 up to 217.37. So not going to be a big range on this, right? Amazon generally trades in tight ranges. If we get back up into 217.37, it's likely going to be all she wrote on this. We get a little bit of elasticity up above the line, but not a ton. So let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft doing the same dance, right? We've got this move higher into FOMC day. I think that if we come back down and get back into this range right here around this VWAP, or maybe down into 477.90, that we could see a nice swing move higher, get us back up into that 478.65 level. So I'm looking for retracement. These are big trend days, right? So as we see this kind of a move, I don't want to jump on anywhere in that big arrow. What I want to have happen is a move back down again, and then if we get into something like this where we see that we have had lots and lots of support and resistance going back into yesterday, coming into today, those make for just sort of safe haven trades that you can focus your energy on and not try to catch a runaway train as it's already left the station. We've got NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'm looking for this one to come back down in. So if you look at what's going on here, we've got, if you do a fib study on this and you look at it, we've got to move back down into 144.69 just to get into 382. 50% retracement looks much better. So that's down around your anchored VWAP with a big move higher. It's down right on top of the central pivot. It's down at natural support and resistance. If NVIDIA comes back down in there, I'm going to rest a buy order and say that that's a very likely place that we can catch an inflection and then probably another move higher up into the range. And then finally, we've got Tesla. Tesla's been a beauty today. So if Tesla continues to do what it has been doing, which is this nice sort of ricochet move inside this range, you can see it's staying shy of this blue pivot line at 324.16 on these retracements higher. That's the easier trade, right? Just get out ahead of 324.16, get out right around 324, and then if it breaks through, the only thing you can do